We hear every time we're rejected that our writing is not original enough. I'm guilty of this. I write what's easy sometimes. I write what I've seen because I want to see more, but also because I thought that making a situation different in some way with a pretty done concept would just make it deceivably different. It doesn't. So what the heck are they actually looking for? Hello my scribes and filmmakers, I'm your girl Pika Lee, and let's get into what this elusive original writing everyone keeps asking for really is. Honestly, every day I fight with myself on how to be more unique, how to write more interesting and not tired stories. It's hard. I feel like I'm a fraud who's just copying everything I see. Just know, you're probably not alone if you feel this way, and you and I will continue to feel like this as pressures from studios to create something fresh keep coming up. It happens. Meetings, competitions, peers, they all want something fresh. I hope I can show you what this originality looks like to the gatekeepers. So here are 3 pieces of writing that did something old but unique. Straight from Hulu, it's The Great, a satirical comedy drama about the rise of Catherine the Great, from outsider to the longest reigning female ruler in Russia's history. Really crazy story, an idealistic romantic young girl who arrives from Russia to an arranged marriage to Emperor Peter. The Great does something really interesting. It's a satirical comedy drama about the rise of Catherine the Great, which, if you do know the history, she did some astonishing things for her time, where this very romantic young woman comes into Russia and decides that her greatest love will actually not be Peter, but probably just Russia. So a lot of this is exaggerated. They do claim that it is not 100% historically accurate, which it's not, but what I like about this period piece is the satirical structure. I mean, often you see historical dramas and they're not fitted together with satire, with comedy. Of course, if you have watched Marie Antoinette, the movie, you will know that Kristen Dunst did play that satire. But if you think about it, that's really kind of the only time I've ever seen it done. So for them to have made a drama out of this on television is pretty incredible to me. The Great stands out with really great writing. They have a really great arc, even though you know what's gonna happen. I mean, if you know the backstory of Catherine the Great, you know that she stages a coup against her husband and ultimately wins. But I actually couldn't predict half of what was gonna happen, so you're just gonna have to binge this show, and now I'm just sitting here wondering, how do I spice up my historical dramas? Speaking of spicing up a pretty common retelling, let's get into The Boys. Another superhero story, I know. I thought it wasn't gonna be the greatest, but Garth Ennis and Derek Robertson just did it. They took something that was oversaturated when it was actually a novel, and a graphic novel by the way, and they took a superhero and turned it on its head. He made them total douchebags. So The Boys is a group of vigilantes that set out to take down corrupt superheroes who basically abuse their superpowers and their celebrity. The graphic novel turned Amazon series is wild. It's graphic and explicit in all the ways I pretty much hate, but I can't stop watching. It's an original point of view on superheroes and how they've become corrupt. I mean, how clever is that? That's something everyone wants to watch. I mean, I love the evolution of Huey, the main character, from superhero fan extraordinaire collecting pops to extremely the opposite after their misbehaviors start to really impact his life actually in pretty torturous ways. Who would have thought that a superhero could be better in realistic, consequential driven worlds? Okay, let's move into comedies revitalizing the genre for me right now, like Lovebirds, a Netflix original movie. It centers on a couple who's experiencing this defining moment in their relationship where they are unintentionally embroiled in this crazy murder mystery on their way to one of their friends' parties. This movie was fantastic. I know, biases aside for the romance, I did think something fun and the uniqueness of instantly showing us the moment these two fell in love, the first 5 minutes of the film, is just amazing. And you see them with these rose-colored glasses, and then the moment that's over, you see them years later in this big argument as they're rushing to leave a house, talking about these most relevant things that are happening in their life that they're not able to share anymore. And yes, I know date night was similar, but that was a married couple. And don't forget, this is different when you're in coupledom. You know, you're not exactly married and you don't have to do it for the long haul for the kids. So you do have this neatness of you can just separate. And in the Lovebirds, they're unmarried. So these people are remembering throughout this experience who they were, what they wanted to be, facing insecurities about each other. And yeah, I get it. Date night was kind of mistaken identities and everything, but the difference with date night was that they got a fresher start, making themselves pretty renewed to each other as a married couple, and just getting that like mystery spark back, knowing they could do different things. So it was a little bit different. In the Lovebirds, their issues were if they belong together at all, and their breakdown in communication. A lot heavier things. So I think placing two people who are in dire circumstances to face their own communication problems to get through that creates kind of this stronger bond as they have to get themselves through this crime that they're super scared of being framed for. So those are my noteworthy shows and films that I thought I was super excited to watch. I felt like they did the genres and the stories justice by creating something a bit more complex or detailed in an old story to make it just pretty new and less played out. I hope these examples passed your unique factor and inspired some other ways for you to bend and manipulate an old favorite into a new twist of gold, because it sure taught me that I have a lot more things to consider in my story, detail-wise, to just twist it and make it something amazing and new. As a matter of fact, I'm gonna grab a cupcake and go get started, so I'll see you on the next one, scribes.